Independent Electoral Centre has launched its National Results Operations Centre today. It comes as South Africans prepare to cast their votes on Monday. Well, let's find out exactly how those preparations are going along. Our reporter Nickolaus Bauer joins us from the Tshwane Event Centre. Nickolaus, good evening to you. Firstly, give us a sense of how things are coming together at the Results Operations Centre. Of course, this is really going to be the hub of where all of the vote counting will be centralized in terms of those results being tallied.
Well, indeed, Kathy. I mean, it may seem a little bit counterintuitive. We join you from quite a dark hall here at the Results Operation Command Centre here in Pretoria. Independent Electoral Commission earlier, through their chairperson, Glenn Mashinini, officially declaring that the ROC is open. We, of course, know the ROC very well, those of us that have covered elections before. It's essentially where all of the votes in this upcoming local government election, and indeed all other elections that take place in South Africa, either national or local, where these votes get collated on a screen just behind us here. That screen is now blank. Like I say, the IEC closing up shop for the day here at the Tshwane Results Centre. But it's all systems go, Kathy, and a very heavy contingent of diplomats, officials, government ministers, as well as political parties being here to witness the official opening of the ROC. And some interesting numbers there as well. There's 95,000 candidates that are going to be on ballot papers across the length and breadth of South Africa at voting stations come November the 1st. And for the very first time in history, we have over 1,500 independent candidates. That's almost more than double the amount that was in 2016. So it's all systems go here in Pretoria, and we now wait with bated breath for those polls to open on November the 1st. This is where it is going to come down to it, though, in terms of numbers when they get collated and announced on that big screen just behind my camera lady, Barbara Ndinge.
Of course, Nickolaus, what the Results Operations Centre looks like tonight, it will be a very different scene. Next week, Tuesday, vote counting would have begun in earnest, and some of the results even from those smaller municipalities would have already started coming in throughout the day. Let's talk a bit about what it has taken the IEC to actually get here, given the fact that by and large they seem to have, really hoped that the elections would have been postponed. Are you getting a sense that everything is still the way that it has been in previous years?
Well, the IEC made no bones about the fact that they've had to pull out all the stops to ensure a free and fair local government election this year. They were expecting it to be delayed until next year. We cast our minds back to that report that was compiled by former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, who actually proposed that the election needed to be postponed as it would not be free and fair due to COVID-19 concerns. The Constitutional Court completely rejecting that application by the IEC, and the IEC, like I say, making no secret of the fact that they had to really put their shoulders to the wheel to ensure that the election could have taken place in that stipulated time between the 27th of October and the 1st of November. That's what the Constitutional Court said. And speaking a little bit earlier to the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer that's actually in charge of operations, Masego Chaba, he said that usually speaking, the IEC needs around 70 to 80 days in between then to host a free and fair election from inception to delivery of results. They've only had around 42 days since that Constitutional Court ruling, and indeed the election being announced on November the 1st. So the IEC's mettle really being tested out here, Kathy, but they remain supremely confident that there's going to be a free and fair election. And in spite of all the political noise, we need to remind ourselves as viewers, as South Africans, as journalists, as anybody that's watching with a keen eye in this election, the Independent Electoral Commission is held in South Africa's electoral body, that it is very often the envy of so many other countries, be they developed countries in the so-called first world or otherwise. The IEC really having such a solid and strong reputation since its inception in the 90s. Although there has been some questions raised around preparations for this election, and indeed how it is going to be held and executed by opposition parties and analysts alike. I think we can rest easy in the knowledge that the IEC has its hand at the tiller, and will really draw on its over 30 years of experience now to ensure that South Africans are treated to, once again, a free and fair election. The only worry that the IEC can speak of at this point in time is voter turnout, which will of course call into question the legitimacy of this election in any way, shape or form. If there's, God forbid, less than 50% voter turnout, this would raise some serious questions about South Africa's democracy.
Newzroom Afrika's Nickolaus Bauer. Let's leave it there for tonight.